Check and see the connection is good. So check on my website, check my YouTube channel, see if the sound is good. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4, testing. Seems like the sound is good. Thawadi Habashmasha. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakar Kadash, and the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and His unbegotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach Yahushua. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, Balash Kadash, Holy Tongue. And I say Barak Thumb to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Wa'akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is just Slaki, so ton of words. This is just another quick sit down lesson of the World War III news updates. As of April 29th, 2026, as tensions continue to still heat back up between these armies of nations, especially the Russia-Ukraine situation. It says another Russian oil facility burns as Zelensky touts a Ukraine drone reach. Ukraine is claiming responsibility for a drone attack on a distant Russian oil facility. The strike reported Wednesday targeting a site over 1,500 kilometers from Ukraine. Right, so these tensions are only going to spark up between Russia and Ukraine. It says Ukraine accused Israel of importing grain stolen by Russia as Zelensky warns of sanctions. It says Lithuania says it foiled an international plot to unalive two activists. Wars and people in the world, the nations are in perplexity. Yep. Revelation 11, verse 14, the second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. Right, so the second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. Luke 21, verse 25, because we're still going to see these nations are in perplexity or in distress. And this will be a scene as we still going to be getting closer and closer to the time of Gentiles being fulfilled still. But these are future prophecies that we still see in the making. This is Luke 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. Right, these are signs in the sun and the moon and the stars that Yahushua spoke about showing us on a daily basis in the world today. And upon the earth, right, and upon the earth as well too, the distress of nations were perplexing. So we're going to see more and more the nations are in perplexity or distress. WOE, which is distress. That's what we're seeing in perplexity. And the siege rage warning, which we're going to continue to see increase. That's what we're seeing. Matthew 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled for all these things must first come to pass, but it's not yet. Right, so more wars and rumors of wars going to continue to increase. This is the book of Luke 21, verse 10. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Right, Russia, Ukraine. Zelensky and them still going to continue to pounce Russia with airstrikes and drones. Russia going to do the same thing to Ukraine as well too. That's what we're seeing. So these wars, rumors of wars, are still going to continue to intensify and increasing. Check out the time of Israel once again. Right, it says the IDF. It says the IDF chief was the Israel Defense Force chief. Says there is no ceasefire in South Lebanon, meaning continuing fighting with Hezbollah. So wars, rumors of wars definitely heating up on a day-to-day basis. And it says U.S. is working on a new building coalition to ensure ships get past through the Strait of Hormuz. Right, so Iran is going to do whatever it takes to not that fully process to continue to go through. CENTCOM chief brief Trump on new plans for new military action against Iran. Right, so this is another potentially of a military action or strikes on Iran once again, because the United States is going to continue to block the Strait of Hormuz. So basically, these nuclear strikes, These are economical wars and trade wars and sanction wars between Iran and the United States. So they're going to continue to increase. That's these oil wars, nuclear wars, and that's what we're seeing on a day-to-day basis. So that's something that will continue to increase. All right, check out the Associated Press. There was one news article that caught my attention. It was saying something about the Iranian uranium. See if I couldn't find that news article. Oh, here. Yeah, I found it. It says, yep, this is a news article. This is from Ed M. Ladier, if I pronounce his name right. Updated 4:08 p.m. at April 29th. Yeah, April 29th, 2026. And it says Iran's highly enriched uranium likely is still at the Isfahan site, right? So it's potentially still there. It says United Nations from the Associated Press. The majority of Iran's highly enriched uranium is likely still at the Isfahan's nuclear complex, and that's a spirit too because I think it was I think that was like last week. It was you had the United States was talking about them in Iran. You know they're gonna scoop up some uranium, non-uranium, and uranium, so they can bring it back to the United States. And Iran was like, no, we don't want to do that. And it says, which was bombarded by airstrikes last year and faced less than intense attacks. In this year's U.S.-Israeli war, the UN nuclear agency's leader told the Associated Press, Rafael Grosky, said in an interview Tuesday that the International Atomic Energy Agency has satellite images showing that the effects of the latest U.S. Israeli strike against Iran, that we will continue to get information. The IEA expected that Isfahan, when Israel last June enriched a 12-day war that said that the United States bombed 3 Iranian nuclear sites. The UN nuclear watchdog believes that a large percentage of Iran's highly enriched uranium was stored there in June 2025. And when the 12-day war broke out, and it has been there ever since. I'm surprised. And I'm surprised it's even still there. Because you would kind of thought after all those strikes, after all those heavy strikes that the United States been doing against the defense force, and according to him from the IEA, he said that uranium is still there at that nuclear site. It says we haven't been able to inspect or to reject that the material is there and that the IEA seals remain there. And he said, I hope we be able to do that. So what I tell you is our best estimate. Images from the Airbus satellite shows a truck loaded with blue containers going into the tunnel in the Isfahan Nuclear Technology Center in June 9th, 2025. It's just before last year the war started. Those containers believed to contain a highly uranium likely remain there. Yep, so most likely it might remain there. It says Grosky, right from the UN autonomy, right? UN energy autonomy for the IEA, Rafael Grosky. It says Grosky said our Iranian nuclear site must be inspected. It says the IEA also wants to inspect the Iran's nuclear facilities in the Natanz and Fordow, where there are also some nuclear material. The IEA Director General added, it says Iran is a party of the nuclear non-proliferation nation treaty whose a 5-year review is underway in the UN inspection headquarters under its provision, and Iran is required to open its nuclear facilities to the IAEA inspection. Rossi says Iran. It says Iran has a 440 point kilograms, 972 pounds of uranium that is enriched up to 60% impurity and short technique step from weapons and grading level of 90%, according to the agencies. Rossi said that the IEA believes roughly 200 kilograms and about 440 pounds is stored at the tunnels at the Ifram Shem Al Shafham site, if I pronounce that right. It says the Iranian stockpile could allow the countries to build as many as 10 nuclear bombs should it decide to weaponize its program, the Grosky told the AFP last year. It says Tehran has insisted that its nuclear program is peaceful. President Donald Trump has one of major reasons that went to the war was to deny Iran the atomic to develop nuclear weapons, even as the insist that the strikes last summer obliterated the country's atomic program. Saying that's not the case. It might be still there at those sites, according to Raphael Grosky. And if Iran have an opportunity that could be able to create more nuclear bomb, a nuclear capability of nuclear bomb, it says Grosky told the UN press conference Wednesday that Iran declared a new uranium enrichment facility last June that the IEA inspectors were scheduled to visit the day strike began. He said that the facilities apparently was not hit in those attacks last year. It says the IEA has talked to Russia and others about taking highly uranium enrichment. Grosky said that it has discussed with Russia and other possibilities of sending Iran's highly uranium out of the country in complex operations that would require a political agreement or a major U.S. operation hostile territory. Trump said Wednesday that Russia Vladimir Putin renewed his offer to help the United States handle Iran's uranium. It says Trump told Putin it was more important the Russian leader be involved with ending the war with Ukraine. Rosky, meanwhile, noted that was going on to be important that the material leaves Iran or blend to reduce its enrichment. I don't think Iran is going to allow that to happen. I don't think Iran is going to allow that to happen. As much as Iran is allies with Russia, but I don't think Iran is going to let that happen. As much as Iran been having heavy blows, I don't think Iran is going to let that uranium is going to be taken out of that country. I don't think they're going to let that happen because they're going to use that. They're going to use that continue to create more nuclear capability, despite the United States aggression of that. But in the meantime, this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation," right? So you're still going to see Iran versus the United States. You're still going to see Russia versus Ukraine, despite the fact they've been having talks to have this temporary ceasefire with the Russian-Ukrainian situation. But those tensions are only going to continue to spark up. And you're still going to see that Isaiah 13, verse 17, Russia and the United States. You're still going to see that prophecy of Isaiah 17, verse 1 of Damascus, Syria, still going to be heating up over that area. You're still going to have the pro-Iranian groups going to be rising up against the Israel Defense Force, because you're still going to have tensions heating up over there in southern Lebanon, in the borders of Israel and Lebanon. And then you're still going to have the Russian-Ukrainian situation heating up in the meantime, despite the fact these talks. Matthew 24:7, "For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom." Right, we're still going to continue to see that increasing. And there should be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places right along with it. And so with that, this was just a quick sit-down lesson of this World War III news updates, right? Because the Third World War is still going to continue to go forth. It's still going to continue to increase. Like it says in the book of Revelation, verse 14, the second will pass, behold, the third will come in quickly. Because you're still going to see the Russian-Ukrainian situation heating up. You're still going to see Hezbollah versus the Israel Defense Force. You're still going to see the tensions heating up between the border of Squirtle and Moose. As it says again, this was posted 1 hour ago. It says the CENTCOM chief to brief Trump on new plans for U.S. military action against Iran, or if a deal is not going to be going through. So once again, those are signs of wars and rumors of wars. That's going to lead up to a third World War. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. And Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Ba'ashem, and the name of Hamashiach Yahushai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the Lashon Holy Tongue. And I say Barakatham to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Wa'akwaf. Till next time, I would say Kwam Yasharala and the Baba Ball. Shalom.